and the kind of respect I was a club in the man, they wouldn't give you that kind of respect. And so I say, baby, we've had a lot of people who would devote their time, who would sacrifice themselves, who would take pain in doing a lot of necessary things for a particular institution. But yet, institution management will look over those commitments and those sacrifices are those people no their mom no. In the next spell, take a painful decision a bit me I regret say that said servant in life for his endless time. And those things so we a servant and also you many and also we employee that's a we you maybe na say you for that kind of appreciation and that kind of necessary respect you for if you have the chance to walk away, just walk away. And Commander meeting here, Thomas Partey with Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal, in the year 2020, and I'm a clear Teta, and making sure that if he wants to start his project with Arsenal Football Club with Edio Gaspar, he needs a competitive midfielder who will partner Granit Xhaka in the midfield for Arsenal Football Club. Because already not Xhaka or Honum, and Xhaka was a stable deep line playmaker no bonnie the mother side of Arsenal. That was a start-up project. Now Mikel Arteta and Edio Gaspar Martinez said they wanted to have a collaborative effect for the football club. And they needed a solid midfielder. They needed someone who can control the telepathy display of Mikel Arteta identity system. They needed someone who can easily translate a lot of passes from the midfield to the attacking third. And everything be a writing of Duma Mikel Arteta. Thomas Partey came in the shape for the identity of Mikel Arteta pattern of play in the midfield. Oguku's got close to about 50 million euros at the Qatar branch in the free Atletico Madrid. At that time, the taste of free Madrid by the side of Arsenal Football Club. No, Obiaka said, better not party about free article about Arsenal because Arsenal is one particular club. 10 Yomoko trophies in their seasons, and your Madrid say meet me even the English Premiership right after Arsenal went the free football club. So most of the people were questioning that kind of decision. But Arsenal took that upon themselves. Thomas Partey risked that kind of transfer deal, and then he came to Arsenal Football Club. When he came, nobody can tell me so live it up to expectation. In the last 5 or 4 seasons of Arsenal Football Club, in the midfield. So when the kind of numbers for Arsenal in the midfield that he has been successful with Arsenal Football Club. Even with last season, Uncle Yan Famana Mitmakasi will pray or we saw the little numbers that Thomas Partey gave to Arsenal midfield, the other man Arsenal. And even last season, and as the last 2 seasons, we saw Arsenal world champion or the second on the league log. It was through Thomas Partey, his ability and his compatibilities. And now, Arsenal Football Club, more 2 times second on the league log with Arsenal Football Club, Mikel Arteta. He was that main man who was controlling the midfield. It got a point in time. So Mikel Arteta loses Thomas Partey in the midfielder. It becomes problematic for Arsenal to function. So he became an engine in the midfield for Arsenal Football Club. That's a party-free club. The man said, that's a Jorginho no motive. Can also bound a free motive. 32 years of the man Arsenal Football Club. No, so Jorginho about the man Arsenal. You see, say the modern money will form. Sir Thomas Partey Babaka. The money for Arsenal Football Club. No, it's because anymore. So even Martin Odegaard, Granit Xhaka, and even Declan Rice Becker say when Thomas Partey is driving the force in the midfield for Arsenal, that is where you see the Declan Rice is operating effectively as a traditional number 8 for Arsenal Football Club in the midfield. But with the last 5-4 years, the commitment level, the sacrifices, and everything that he has done for Arsenal Football Club, they are still maneuver their way to neglect the extension of Thomas Partey contract. And me as a Ghanaian, I'm not talking as if say I am a selfish interest because I'm a Ghanaian, but then so we may as a Ghanaian I'm to so I make us. That's what Thomas Partey performance, especially this season. Because the last round of games Arsenal football, Mikel Arteta nankasa a holding press conference, and he says he wants Thomas Partey to stay within the football club, and then he is going to talk with the new sporting director Andre Beta to make sure possibilities so meet him negotiate and extend the contract at the Thomas Partey, because this season has been one of his best seasons ever since of stepping foot in the Arsenal Football Club. And it was quite good. Look at the kind of games or the man at the side of Arsenal. The competitive game that he gave to Arsenal Football Club, meeting Real Madrid Football Club, both our Arsenal home and even at Santiago Bernabeu. He stole the show for Arsenal in the midfield. Look at how Boston the midfield with Tchouaméni, Camavinga, and Luka Modric in the midfield. Danny Ceballos Mobile. These were prolific midfield. Omudin Omo caliber and the kind of performance of them at the side of Real Madrid Football Club. No, Nanka Untimi found compared Thomas Partey at Article, Untimi found compared Thomas Partey with Arsenal Football Club. But then he made sure, say, with his little capability, with his technique level, and with how it's be composing itself and making sure so match a lot of effectiveness. He was able to outsmart these kind of good footballers for Real Madrid Football Club. Made sure that Arsenal will progress from the quarter-final stage to the semi-final stage against PSG Football Club. We saw quiet Thomas Partey and busted the midfield of Arsenal. The contract be with June 30th. And to me, I don't see Arsenal renewing Thomas Partey contract. Already, like I said, Arsenal is actually negotiating. But the Martins will be made the all associate that. And if say possible, somebody Martin will be made the air by the side of Arsenal Football Club, it will be that kind of eminence. Say Thomas Partey will lead the football because this is a young guy over. Thomas Partey age 2 years. Although say, that stable idea no the bottom at the side of Arsenal. But the Martins will be coming in. It's a competitiveness. Now Arsenal will face a lot of challenges because this is a guy over the another phase 2 project. Thomas Partey project with Arsenal was a phase 1 project. The phase 2 project is going to start with the Martins will be Mendy and they decided to declare rights in the midfield. And they will need to offload Thomas Partey. This is where the commitment and the sacrifices are overlooking. So Thomas, I'm advising you as a Ghanaian brother, if Arsenal is overlooking all of these commitments, all of these sacrifices, no dodgy Ghana national call up. Ghana national no body as game now which they move body Arsenal. Your Ghana versus Brazil World Cup, friendly match pre-World Cup tournament. Utimi catch say we pra na go to tuado a UF frame with the sake of Arsenal. All of these sacrifices, Arsenal for it more overlooking. The next thing for you is to make sure so be free football club in Marco. You are a fine player. Thomas Partey at any moment in time can start in most of the top clubs in Europe. Partey can start at Chelsea. Partey can start with Manchester United. Partey can start with Real Madrid Football Club. Partey, in a way, can compete with Pedri and Fifi for Barcelona. So if it's a Barca deal, you're very eminent. Last even Crampon may take so call as a free agent. So bet Marco Barca, Charlie Onko. Say Saudi Pro League, say Al Hilal, Al Nassr, or Munina contract will table so Partey should walk away and go to the Saudi Pro League. Because with Arsenal Football Club now, it seems that his sacrifices has been overlooked. And Mikel Arteta is finding very difficult to spill out the truth to take to a contract with Arsenal Football Club. And that will be a massive decision for the side of Thomas Partey. See, your call next week near Tessa Arsenal for extended the Thomas. It will be another news. Hallelujah. And no dear, I will support that. But as Arsenal for your some extended contracts now, call. PSG. Obebo.
Barcelona also ne Pedri Copre no.
Obebo. Obebo.
Who is going to play for Barcelona? Who is going to play for Paris Saint-Germain?
It's about to like top teams there where you
He will be made to the bench.
Don't say that. No.
PSG bench. No bench.
No, don't say that. Okasadia, baby, the Varas. Yeah, check on.
And no board that game.
Well, was it checking what you man? Why? Check away the man.
And not giving him, I say, Thomas Partey. He won't even make it to Paris Saint-Germain's bench.
Massa and Casas.
Well, and not team no boy and Casas. And I said, give him so much.
What kind of the?
Well, they just look at
disrespect to Thomas. It's not like disrespect. He's talking about
Omutino.
He's making
fat.
Emery, Vitinha, and Amadulu and a boy. That means Fabian using him. And I back now no count.
You'll never.
If say mfimfini so mo gina ho considering Enrique's philosophy. Obi antie no. Considering Enrique's philosophy. On pet that wa hu ding degree nsa no man won mfimfini. So you give chance to these boys and not play Thomas Partey.
No. Then you are wrong with that.
Pedri ni we cry on who's a Partey betima yi
Pedri no I.
Listen. Then you are wrong with that. Considering this particular match, Mayulu, Vitinha, Zaire Emery.
This is not their team A when it comes to that midfield.
Very good. So Vitinha, Zaire Emery, Mayulu. Now even Kwapuno says, "I want them to leave Vitinha and the Fabian regime." Nakachem said Thomas Partey wouldn't make it to the bench.
Considering
Zaire Emery will start ahead of Thomas Partey.
Who?
Zaire Emery will start ahead of.
But he's not their starter.
No. With this lineup. When you are talking, okay, say,
may say, considering Enrique's philosophy,
I mean physicality,
he won't make it to the bench.
Play with physicality.
Who?
Thomas Partey.
When
Partey play with physicality. We all know Thomas Partey. He has that kind of flair. He has that technique. But currently, form the crap
Thomas Partey.
Top form the crap Partey no. Partey will play with ball Madrid.
Mate, but I'll say power. Now Man City
na City in why here. Be say Partey be bo baby ah. E mo be under Liverpool first 11. Partey be bo baby ah.
Team B no be trying.
Me say Partey will play everywhere.
Mate, Arsenal
even is struggling to win the league. They are shipping him out. What if he will play at every team? I don't get it.
Shipping who's out?
You gotta come and go with you.
You people should allow me to do my way.
We won't allow you. We are trying to say the debate between Thomas Partey. He will play. I beg you to skill.
No, if you don't allow me to,
I beg you to skill.
You have to hard you buy PM.
So me mejuma, ba meji akuja ala to aso Partey tuma me mejuma. Ah? Abi Partey dey also ma me mejuma o.
Partey will not start at Man City. Unya bi more Chelsea. Unya bi more Real Madrid. Barcelona, who nyina on start.
Partey will start everywhere. Partey will start
allow me read my message. You're winning a film. Nana side, the special one, I be you chop your birthday.